Before we actually start writing our if statement, I want to take a quick peek at the exercise so that you'll know exactly what we're trying to accomplish here. You should be familiar with this exercise. This is a company called Benjamin of Brussels. We're looking at their international chocolate distributors. You'll notice they are tracking each salesperson over in column A, their numbers for April, May, and June over in column B, C, and D, and then column E is where they've actually just totaled across. In column F, if you notice, they're paying each person a commission. And it looks like right now that commission is based on this 18% that you see over in J3. There's also a bonus column, that's column G. When we go to look at our VLOOKUPs in section 2, we'll be comparing those with this bonus table over here on the right. One of the things I want to do in this exercise is I don't want to give everyone a commission. I'm only going to give them a commission if they meet their quota. Let me go ahead and delete all of this, and then when we put it in, we'll put it in a little bit differently. Now before we get started, I want to see if there are any names already set up in the exercise. I'm going to go up to the name box, and it looks like there is one. There's the COM rate. Let's see where that goes. It looks like it goes over to J3 where they have 18%. That's the commission rate. I'm going to go ahead and name J4. That's the quota. I'll go ahead and name that one quota. And then I'll name one more thing so that when we get to section 2 it's already done. I'm going to go ahead and name the range I8 through J10. I'm going to call this one bonus underscore table. Awesome. Now I have all three of those. Remember that when you create the names, always click to make sure that they go to the correct place, because it's very easy to accidentally be clicked over to the side somewhere and you've named the wrong cell or the wrong range of cells. Let's go ahead and start our if statement. I'm going to click in F6. An if statement actually has three parts. There is a test. The second part is what to do if that test happens to be true, and what to do if that test happens to be false. Let me tell you what I want to do here. I want to look at each person's total, and I want to know if that total is greater than or equal to this quota over here in J4. That's the test. Is it greater than or equal to my quota? If it is, we'll go ahead and take that total and multiply it times the commission rate, which is in J3, and they will get that commission. But if it's false, meaning they don't meet or exceed the quota, we're not going to give them a commission at all. We'll have it return a 0. Let me show you how to set this up. The first thing you want to do is always start with your equal sign. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the word if. Now I could go ahead and type the rest of this formula, but if you're not sure how to do that, the best thing to do is let Excel go ahead and type all the stuff in for you. You just kind of plug in the variables. I could, if I didn't want to put the if in here that way, I could go ahead and use my insert function, which is here, or remember, if I go to the formulas tab, I'll see it here as well. In the insert function window, I'm looking for a function called if. Remember that if you've recently used it, it'll show up on the most recently used. If not, you'll have to click on all, and then you'll have to go down to where the I's are in the list and look for if that way. But look at the definition. It checks whether a condition is met, which is the test I mentioned, returns one value if it's true and another if it's false. I'm going to click OK, and now we're in the function arguments, and there's the three things that I just mentioned. The first thing is the test. Here's what I want to do. Now notice that instead of just typing in there, I'm going to click the cells. It's a little bit easier that way. I want it to tell me if E6 is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to click where the $60 is, and notice that the word quota is in there because it knows that cell is named. The reason that I wanted to name that is because I could have put J4 in there and it would have been correct. But when I get ready to copy my formula down, the other answers would not be correct because it would go to J5, J6, J7, just like that. Notice that it tells me this is true already, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second part. What do we want Excel to do if this is true? Well, I'm going to have Excel take my total in E6 and multiply it times my commission rate, which is in J3. This is another one that was already named in the exercise. I could have put J3, but then again, I would have had to make sure it's an absolute value. The third part is what to do if it's false. We're going to return a 0. It just looks better when you have numbers in a column. But know that you could put text in there as well. If you wanted to say did not reach the quota or anything, you could put any text at all in there. If you don't put anything in that field, what will happen is you'll see the word false in there, and that will look really funny when you have a column of numbers like this. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and you can see that now I have 19. Now I want to go ahead and copy this formula down, so I'll just drag it all down. And you can see that 3 people did not meet their quota. If you notice, Maunder only had 52 for his total. Simmons has 39 and Peruzzi has 56. So you can see this is exactly what I wanted from this. Now I want to go back and double click on F6. I want to just show you how this formula is set up. We know we start with equals and we've got the word if there. Here's the part that I want you to see because that's the test. There's where we said E6 is greater than the quota, and notice it has a comma because then there's another field. Here's the second one where we said that if it's true, you want E6 to be multiplied times the commission rate. And then the last one where we put the 0 in is right there. So really the 3 fields we filled in are in the parentheses here, and they just have commas between them. Like I said, I could have typed that, but it was just much easier to let Excel fill that in for me. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter there, and that's a quick way to do what we call an if statement.